The last call. I've always been the type to work late into the night, partly out of necessity and partly out of habit. As a customer service representative for a nationwide hotline, I was used to the late-night calls. It's when people are most desperate, most in need of someone to talk to, someone who will listen. But there was one night, a night like no other that has stayed with me, haunting me in the quiet hours, reminding me of the thin veil that separates the mundane from the horrifying. It was a Thursday, or maybe a Friday. The days blur together when you work the graveyard shift. My desk was in a dimly lit corner of a mostly empty office. The fluorescent lights above flickered occasionally, casting unsettling shadows on the walls. My colleagues had gone home hours ago, leaving me alone to man the phones. The usual calls had come and gone, lonely souls, people dealing with loss, and the occasional prank caller. By 2 a.m., things had slowed down. I sipped on my third cup of coffee, trying to shake off the drowsiness creeping over me. That's when the phone rang. The sound was sharp, cutting through the silence like a knife. I picked up the receiver, half expecting another routine call. "Hello, this is Sam. How can I help you?" I said, trying to sound as awake as possible. For a moment there was only silence on the other end, a cold, empty silence that made my skin prickle. I checked the caller ID, but it was just a string of numbers that didn't make sense. No name, no location, just a random sequence that I couldn't place. "Hello?" I repeated, this time with more urgency. A faint rustling noise came through the line, followed by a breath, heavy and labored, then a voice, a woman's voice, barely more than a whisper.
"Please, help me."
Something in the way she said it, so broken, so full of dread, immediately put me on edge. I've heard a lot of things in this job, but there was something about this voice that was different. It wasn't just fear. It was as if she was speaking from the depths of some unimaginable horror. "Ma'am, I'm here. What's your name? Where are you?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Another long pause. I could hear her breathing, shaky and uneven, like she was trying to hold herself together just long enough to get the words out.
I don't know where I am. It's dark. So dark.
"Okay. Stay calm. Can you tell me anything about where you are? Anything at all?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, I heard a sound that made my blood run cold. A soft, distant moan. The wind through a graveyard, followed by a faint, rhythmic tapping.
"He's coming,"
she whispered, her voice trembling. "Who's coming?" "Ma'am, you need to tell me where you are so I can send help." The tapping grew louder, more insistent, as if whatever was making the sound was drawing closer. I could hear her breathing quicken, almost to the point of hyperventilation.
I can't escape. He's always there, always watching."
"Who's watching you? What does he look like?"
He's not human. Not anymore."
My heart pounded in my chest as I listened. This wasn't just someone having a bad night. This was something else, something far worse. I tried to keep her talking, to keep her focused, but every question I asked seemed to bring her closer to some breaking point. "Where are you right now? Are you inside? Outside?"
"Inside, but it's not my house. It's his."
"Whose house? What do you see?" She didn't answer. Instead, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps, slow, deliberate, growing louder with each passing second. She gasped, a sound filled with pure terror.
"He's here."
She breathed. I felt a chill race down my spine. I wanted to tell her to run, to hide, to do anything to get away. But the words caught in my throat. There was something deeply wrong about this whole situation, something that defied all logic and reason. Ma'am, you need to leave. Find a way out, now.
I can't move. He's watching me.
The line crackled with static, distorting her voice. I strained to hear her, every instinct screaming that this was more than just a bad situation. It was something else entirely. Then in the midst of the static, I heard it. A voice, deep and guttural, a sound that didn't belong in this world.
Mine.
The word was drawn out, almost like a growl, sending a jolt of terror through me. I clutched the receiver tightly, my knuckles turning white. "Ma'am, get out of there! Now!" I shouted, my voice betraying the fear I felt. She let out a strangled cry, followed by the sound of a door slamming open. Footsteps, frantic and desperate, echoed through the line as she ran. But the other sound, the one that had sent shivers down my spine, was still there, following her, relentless and unyielding.
I'm outside.
Her voice cut off abruptly, replaced by a sickening thud. Silence. "Ma'am? Ma'am, are you there?" I pleaded, my voice trembling. Nothing, just the eerie, oppressive silence. Then the static returned, hissing and crackling. I held my breath, listening, praying for some sign that she was still there, still alive. And then I heard it, a low, rumbling laughter, distorted by the static, but unmistakably malevolent.
Mine.
The line went dead. I sat there, staring at the receiver, my heart pounding in my chest. I wanted to believe it was a prank, some sick joke. But I knew deep down that it wasn't. There was something real, something dark and horrifying about that call. I reported it to my supervisor, of course, but there was nothing they could do. The number couldn't be traced, and there were no missing person reports that matched the details I had. It was as if the woman had simply vanished, swallowed up by whatever nightmare had claimed her. But the worst part, the part that still haunts me, is that I keep hearing that voice, late at night when I'm alone. It whispers to me, just on the edge of hearing, always the same word, the same terrifying promise, mine. And now, every time the phone rings, a part of me is terrified that it will be her, calling from that dark place, trapped in a nightmare that she can never escape. Because deep down, I know that one day, the last call won't be from her. It will be for me.